Hey, it's Lara with Usborne Books and More, and what I'm going to do right now is just take you through a past Facebook party that I've done, so you can kind of see how I have it set up and what kind of engagement I get and the types of posts I make. Now, I highly recommend you make a Facebook party as personal to yourself as possible. Highlight the books that you love, do games that you love, do literacy tips and different posts that you really enjoy doing, because the fact that you like them and are looking forward to them and are excited about those posts really comes through, and you will see way more engagement on a party that you have personalized and made your own. So I can't recommend that enough. So to start, the first post I make in a Facebook party is a welcome post, and it kind of does a quick little blurb. I'm not going to be on any of these long enough for you to read the whole thing. This is, again, just a quick overview. You can get all of this information from me. Just ask me for any of these posts, or check out my Post My Party template if you are using Post My Party. So the first one I do, again, is a welcome post. And it just kind of talks about what Usborne is, talks about the party itself. And then I always like to end with a question to get people engaged and talking in the post. And the next post I do is a welcome post, or I'm sorry, an introduction post where I introduce myself and I say a few of my favorite things, talk about why I'm a consultant. And then again, there's a little engagement part where I ask them to answer these questions in the comments. The next few posts are different games, literacy tips, you can see here, and book highlights that I will post throughout the party. I usually start posting anywhere from 5 to 10 days before the party starts, depending on how early and quickly the hostess has gotten the invites out and gotten all of her yes responses back. In this case, I only had, I think, like 3 days to do it. So there's only a couple of pre-party posts. On longer ones, I will do even more literacy tips. I'll do even more games and even more book highlights. So this one didn't have that many pre-party posts because, like I said, there was only a few days between the time that I set the party up and the time that the party actually happened. But I do think it's really important to not just do salesy posts, but to give them actual information that they can use and take in the future and apply to their lives. So this one is talking about the 3 R's of early literacy and how they can apply those to books and why they are important. So things like that, I really feel that guests appreciate versus just the whole party being sales, 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 sales. So literacy tip, a quick game that ties in with highlighting a book. The next post I do is the personal shopper post. And this is one of the most important posts of the entire party. It really is. I can almost always tell how a party is going to go by how many people comment on the personal shopper post. And for each person who comments, I will go in and I will create a wish list for them. And I will go over creating wish lists in a separate video. And then I will give them their wish list. You can see here, I will give them their wish list and a little blurb. I'll ask them to read the wish list and come back and tell me a few of the books that they like the best. I'll give them the link to their wish list. And then I'll kind of quickly go over a handful of the books that I picked for them and why I picked those books for them. You know, you said that they liked animals, so I put in Animal Hide and Seek because it has textures and flaps that I know that they'll love, et cetera, et cetera. Just that kind of quick little blurb. The more people that you can get to comment on this and the more people you can get to do a personal shopper request, the better your party will be, hands down. I find that people who get that personal shopper list and actually get to look at a list of books for their kids are far more prone to order from the party than people who did not. So I really, really, really encourage a lot of participation on this. You can see in this particular one, the hostess came back and somewhere in here, I thought I saw, here she came back and she tagged all of her friends that didn't have a wish list yet and said, let Lara know about your kids and that will, and she'll get you a personalized wish list. And so she had, after that, a few more people comment in addition to who had already commented. So really, really important post. Another post that I do, usually actually before let's see, this was February 11th at 11:30, February 11th at noon. So usually before the personal shopper post, but in this case, it was kind of, like I said, a shortened, condensed party. I'll do a book video intro and let them see kind of the books in action. Here's another book highlight. And I always, again, do an engagement question with it. This one is asking about the favorite dessert. I like to do a quick survey where I'll find out the names and the ages of the kids that are going to be the parent people who are at the party, who they are shopping for, so that I can make sure to personalize the party kind of towards that age range. For instance, if they were all babies, I wouldn't do any of the older books. If they were all, elementary school and teen, I would make sure to focus on those. Here is just another engagement graphic. Oh man, I have to sneeze. Letting people know that their wish lists are ready after I finish those wish lists. And again, I'll go over that in another post. Here is another video on literacy, or another little literacy graphic. Again, it's got the engagement post. A quick game. This game was Book Uno. Another literacy tip thing with a little game where they guess the answer to a question that's on that graphic. Then I start counting down to the party. And then I welcome them to the party. This is posted about 30 minutes before the party, and I just let them know some hints and tips for the party and how it's going to work. And in this 30-minute countdown post, I always have the hostess tag everybody that is going to be there. This was a dual hostess party. There were two hostesses doing it together. So that's why you'll see two different names doing all of this. So she tagged all of the people that she'd invited. This hostess tagged all of the people that she invited. And that just lets the guests know that the hostess is really excited to see them, that she's actually personally thinking about them specifically. And it's a great reminder because they'll see in their notifications, that the hostess tagged them. And that usually brings them over to the page. So then we start the party posts. I start with a welcome post where I ask them some personal questions about themselves. Then I will usually do a book highlight or another game, more book highlights, some more literacy tips, another book highlight. And again, this changes from party to party. This party, the hostess had just attended a different party and several of the guests had. So I wanted to make sure to change it up. So these aren't maybe necessarily the same posts that I would make if I was doing a party for somebody completely different tonight. I'd change it up quite a bit. But again, another book highlight, another like little engagement thing. This one is what book describes your day and why. Then this one, I give a list of videos for all age ranges. And I say, pick a video to watch based on your kids' ages. Then I talk a little bit about hosting and consulting and why that is fun. And I give some entries and some incentives for people to do that. Another book highlight, another game. In this case, I talked a little bit about Easter. Sometimes on this post, I'll talk about the customer special if it's a really good customer special. And then the last post I make, I always come up to will always be at the top. I pin it as soon as it goes up. This is post 12, the shipping and info post. And it just gives a little FAQ about shopping and how much shipping is, if there's discounts, how do I make sure that the hostess gets credit, etc. And then going back down, so that would have been the next post. Then I will start with the thank yous. As orders come in, I say thank you to the guest and I highlight one of the books that they purchased. This just acts as like little mini advertisements for each of these books to other people that may be shopping. When I'm ready to go to bed, I post a thank you post. I'm going to bed, just so you know that I'm not going to be answering immediately. These are all more thank yous. The next morning, I'll do another little informational post on Usborne. More thank yous, more thank yous. I'll let them know that it's okay that they missed the party, or if they missed the party, they can always catch up and how to do that. Another literacy tip. And this is all spread out over the next 48 hours. This all isn't post it immediately. So, and then some reminders to shop.